Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Civil Engineering Excellence Committee, I warmly welcome you all for this very useful lecture today. Engineers' role in renewable energy utilization in Sri Lanka, but here is a different use of renewable energy for power generation. Today our resource person for this interesting lecture, Dr. BMS Batakoda. You all know he is the Secretary of Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy. It's my duty to introduce him as a formal way. He is a PhD holder in Environmental Science from University of East Anglia, UK, MSc degree in Natural Resources Management from Michigan State University of USA. He is also an attorney at law of the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka. Dr. Batakoda has held many senior managerial positions, including Deputy Secretary, Ministry of Finance and Planning, Director General of Department of Public Enterprises, Director General of Department of National Planning, and several senior positions in Ministry of Public Administration, Ministry of Plantation Industries, Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources. He has also served as an Assistant Secretary to His Excellency, the President of Sri Lanka. During his career, Dr. Batakoda pioneered with other stakeholders in initiating and creating many innovative institutions and programs such as carbon trading in Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka Climate Fund Limited, Climate Change Secretariat, Air Resource Management Center, Vehicle Emission Testing Program, Environmental Economics and Global Affairs Division, Project Management Bureau. Dr. Batakoda has authored and co-authored several books including State of the Environment in Sri Lanka, Urban Air Quality Management in Sri Lanka, Theoretical Manual for Environmental Valuation in Sri Lanka, Valuation in Sri Lanka, Fiscal Policies on Fuel and Vehicle in Sri Lanka, Environmental Economics, a guide to training of policy makers. There are lots going on. He has been awarded the Kongha International Award for Excellence in Air Quality Management in Asia in 2014 for his contributions towards the improvement of air quality. He is another achievement also. Fulbright scholar and also a Commonwealth scholar also. So we have today a very valuable and resource person. So I am inviting Dr. Batakoda to have a real experience.
Good evening. First of all, I will thanks Institute of Engineers Union for inviting me and recognizing me as one of the presenter in the very august and extreme professional group. I feel myself honored to be with us, particularly in front of Professor Kekabara, very senior professors and all the distinguished engineers here. So I thought I must accept this invitation, though I have so much of things happening in the ministry, power sector, we are not free all the time, busy. I thought I take the opportunity to talk to you on this. Then I accepted this invitation. I was thinking, initially I was asked to talk about role of engineers of renewable energy sector. So I thought I don't know what to talk, but engineers know what's the role all about very well. I don't think there's nothing to talk about this role, and the issue is whether the system allow them to play the role. It's another issue. I know myself with our institutional setup, our governance system, our issue arrangement, society is the issue. Why, if engineer or anybody can is failed, I don't think I must remind you or remind me what is the duty of the country. We as individuals, I am well aware, all of you know what's to be done, how to be done, but as a group, finally, some brother, if I think I would do something, when I, as a group, some or other, there are some problem to do what we wanted to. So then what happened eventually is, even though individually we want to do something, when you put together, there is no system for us to work as a team. Obviously, if I want to do, I will be an electrical engineer or somebody else. If you want to do certain thing, obviously you can't do things alone. But you have to have some other team. So society is moving in the multidisciplinary directions. So what I feel, if I summarize, is in the absence of a mechanism, a social culture, social institutional setup, I am a person who believes in institutional economics. My PhD in normal science, but I specialize in institutional economics. So I value too much. I recognize very much institutions instead of engineers. If this engineers is not there, we will have no lecture here today. Because this institution, very institution, help us to gather a group of us. I am talking here. So the institution is very important. What I feel is, in this country, I don't know, maybe wrong, we do not have a proper institutional mechanism to keep us together to do what I want, what you want. No point in talking about you, role, all these things. So that's what I was thinking. No point in telling you. But yet I thought, I just went to a Asian Power Secretaries meeting in Bangkok. Then very important material they presented there. I thought I share with you rather than talking about role, which will come later in summarize what we should be doing. So in that, maybe some of them have access to this material. In that meeting, I just talk about this outline, maybe greenhouse gas emissions, or because if you talk about renewable energy and solar, so many issues in grid integration, all kind of thing, research and development, and then we are talking about the role of engineers. I don't think I'm remind you. I just tell you what our role had to be. So I just want to go through this. So what I see, we are talking about today renewable energy. Whether you are civil engineer or electrical engineer or whatever, we all have a lot of, this whole world is moving towards renewable energy. Everybody talk about renewable energy. Whether somebody don't know what is renewable energy, we all talk about renewable energy. It's a big way. One of the nutshell of why we are talking about in this is the greenhouse gas emission. You know, climate change, whether we know or not, the global climate change is happening, people are worried, scientists are worried, policymakers are worried. And in the past, when we were working on the climate change, they thought there are no such thing in climate change. Now people are realizing something happening. Look at this, what happened, the climate change area. We all trying to stabilize atmospheric, anthropogenic greenhouse gas emissions. So we are talking so much. This happened in 1971 to 80s. Look at this bottom kind of red color. So there's a carbon intensity, mean that to produce 1 unit of the GDP or unit of economic output, how much the carbon you emit. There are two things, one energy intensity, other thing is the carbon intensity. It has basically dropped. To realize, society realize we have to have, you must produce things using minimum amount of energy. In this case, if you can produce things using minimum amount of carbon emission, you are through. But look at this, it's a drop 71.1 and 81.90 drop again, intensity has minus improved, 99 to 2000 again minus. Look at 2001 to 2010, yeah, up. Again, increased use of coal and other. So we are so complacent. If you remember in the 70s, we talked about the oil prices and all so many things. We are worried about the atmospheric carbon dioxide emission. We are worried about the climate change, all these things. But finally, at a time, we just given up. Oh, it's easy. Didn't jump on. Now, as society advanced, technology advanced, scientists advanced, what happened? The intensity of the carbon intensity energy intensity has increased. Maybe possibly, I don't know, possibly oil price drop, coal price drop, maybe economics must have responded. But thing is, this what happened. So this is the reason. Then again, scientists and engineers jump out and say, look, so the things happening is not good. We are using more and more electricity, more and more energy to produce 1 unit of GDP. Doesn't work. So now they are panicking again. Now we are all talking about, look at this, and after 2010 onward, this decade, now you see, everybody talking about renewables. Narendra Modi, American Barack Obama, everybody talking about European countries, Russia, Japan, all are talking. Sometimes, even though they don't in practice, I think they talk about this. Put in the front agenda saying, people, look, we are renewable energy country. But in the back side, possibly they are doing coal or something. But this is a thing. That because of this society accept there is something called greenhouse gas available. This will create some imbalances in the atmosphere. So this will create some lot of disasters, flooding, all this. So we are everybody feeling some kind of a sentiment for society. We must do something as a country, as an individual, as a company, as an organization. Everybody start feeling we must do something just to stop some of the anthropogenic or man-made greenhouse gases. So that's the whole bad day. So therefore, there are some very strong case why we as engineers, as society, as policymakers, why we should go for the renewable energy. This is the trend how it started. Then look at this. Then in the meeting, they are talking about this type of concept. So there are sort of people are fighting for this coal lobby. We are talking about LNG lobby, then the oil lobby. Then some people call there so much of what to call the nuclear. So much of energy is the subject. So if you can produce a unit of economic output using a least amount of energy, that can remain. No matter how much politically you are weak or strong, doesn't matter. It's a decisive factor, whether you like or not. It's energy use. So there are many other things, of course, yes. But this is a necessary condition to have the economy. If you can produce, so then we are talking about so much of solar power. All are talking about solar power, and why not we talk about solar power, which is, and you know, the Middle East fight going on, so much of political instability, which is also it's a factor is driven by the energy. So energy, people die for energy. So the whole game of Middle East economy has shifted now towards the other thing, and US based, other countries based now trying to discover so much of technology to tap the. So what the direction now is actually, look at this bottom line. So we all know all the energy come from sun. Doesn't matter coal, doesn't matter oil, doesn't matter it's wind, solar, everything is sun. So solar power. Some are talking about solar power is not good. It is the solar power. The coal is solar power. We know. So therefore, solar, you can't go against solar power. Solar power is the. Some people say solar power. Some people I heard some people saying solar power cannot solve solar pollution. Of course, yes. Solar power can solution for everybody. Coal is solar power. Biomass solar power. Hydro is solar power. So we all solar power. Nobody can tell solar power can solution. So that now tendency is now we are talking about, we are fighting for this oil, gas, coal, which are underground, which has been created by the solar, sun. So then now we are thinking, why you wait until the sun go to the solar photosynthesis up there, little thing. See, look at this. Total annual energy as estimated is 3.8 million exajoules. They say total solar power come to Earth. So global requirement, they say global energy demand is only 400. Entire world, we require only 444, which is very insignificant. That means 1 hour of solar power is enough for whole world to provide electricity power. So there is huge potential. Now we are talking about if that much of potential there, what the problem? Why we are fighting for oil? Why you are killing each other in Middle East? Why you invade countries for the oil or coal? That's the direction now society thinking. Seriously, scientists and engineers are looking at. So now we are all forget all the solar power, all the wind, all the biomass, forest cover, we forget all this thing. All the fighting for this underneath what is 1000, 2000 meters below soil, we dig them and destroy whole thing and emit so-called greenhouse gas emission, atmospheric energy, imbalances created, climate change, all this. We create whole problem. Now we are talking, stop talking all this downstream and try to directly use the what you call the solar power directly. So what that means? That means they said there are no energy crisis in the world. It can't be because we have 3.8 million exajoule of power in the country. Whole world we need only 445. Then what problem? There are no energy crisis. But we all talk about energy crisis we talk. So that is created. What the create issue is the technology and capacity crisis. Since we have no capacity or we have no technology, so we wait until the natural system to process this solar energy and convert them and put to the oil and wait until solar power to convert to the coal, and we wait that long, millions of years, we wait, then you dig, then get it. Why not scientists and engineers? Why do you wait until such a long time? So much of solar power there, why can't you convert them straight away without waiting solar power to be converted into oil, gas or coal? That's the direction we are talking about. So scientists are working. So in the 2-3 decades ago, when they talk about this, everybody said when I was learning in the 80s in universities, they talk in environment science school, we said we are talking about this concept. They thought we are crazy. And Michigan State University, they have a big research group. They said tapping direct solar power is a crazy idea. But some people did not believe this. They went on and start doing it. Look at the whole world I'm going to. So the idea is actually tap these, build the capacity without waiting solar power to be converted to the oil or coal, you tap them up there. That's why battery storage, all these things, renewable energy, biomass, forestry, and so on and so forth will come. This is the issue we are talking about. Then now, what's the problem? Unless, if you can build the technology, if you can build the capacity to tap this enormous amount of power, but of course you can, maybe cost is issue. Now, issue is not the crisis is a cost. So cost is money is a economic thing. I don't think money is technology available. Money can be created in a way, economies. So that's the way it all is. This is the direction that talk about. Don't wait until the oil and coal to resolve your problem. Oil and coal also your come from solar. Try to get the developed technology straight away, convert solar and solar power by way of wind maybe. That's the direction we are talking about. So this is the overall kind of a direction in the world. So whether are we ready for this? That's my question. Are we ready for this? So look at this. Whether Sri Lanka ready, I don't know. Sri Lanka, of course, we have been 100% renewable country earlier. Now I don't think we are not that direction. But look, all this look to me, though Sri Lanka is, whether we are talking on this, whether we go in that direction or not, but this world looks like it's ready to do this. Look at this. Just a simple thing in the workshop by World Bank Group. It's a 2000 to 2040. This direction. Look at this. Coal coming up to 10% or something, but bottom. Then we have gas, then oil, then nuclear. All this. Look at up there, blue line above, which is significant now. Whole world by 2040. Can you imagine how world could be? Now people are crazy behaving, economic growth, and eating 5 cars, 10 cars, big building, 3 houses, 2 houses, traveling of billions of people traveling all over so even now people are crazy. Now we are moving, look at these airports, all airports are full, traveling airport. So imagine in 2040, world would be how look, I mean, the demand, energy demand, people's transaction, all this. So even by 2040, assumption is so significant amount of renewable share coming about. So whole demand. I mean, so we thought the oil and coal will be dominating, but still, look at more than significant amount of almost 30% or 40% of world energy come from renewables. That's the direction we are going. So the world is investing a lot of money on the direction. Look at this, what happened. In the 2015, first time in the history, world renewable energy exceeded the total fossil coal. So in the past we thought fossil coal is the solution for our energy requirement. But in 2015, if you look at this, total renewable is higher than the total oil and gas. So this the direction is that we indicate. What indication is the society is now moving that direction, investing a lot of money for the solar, all these things, without just negatively thinking, okay, solar cannot be converted to battery or something, or solar cannot be converted. People invest a huge amount of solar panel industry, inverters, various technology, you call thermal, battery, all these things. So first time in the history in the world they exceeded. This is a big direction. So now society is moving toward that without waiting the solar power to be go under the ground. They wait to track this. Why you fight each other? Why you kill Middle East people? So just straight away take you out of solar. Nothing to kill. So this is a direction. So look at this what happened in the world. So this is, look at all the other countries. Look at the by 2021, China. These are the direction coming up. Is a different renewable energy. So China is investing huge. USA. Look at India. India come to third place. Look at India is purple color line. They are also investing huge. By 2021, Indian guys also almost coming with the China and India, right? Investing huge amount. But they know unless they work seriously, if they, of course, oil is cheaper. Oil is cheaper. If you hang on to this, once the world leave you out behind, so you can't capture. So they are, whether the competition will win or not, but they are going with the world trend. So the journey may end up with losing, we don't know, but still we don't go on journey. Once all are gone, you are left out. So therefore, these people are spending. Sometimes Indian people are, so Indian projector said they are investing 175,000 megawatt in the next 5 years. 175 megawatt of solar they are investing. Which they must be thinking, if you don't do this, they must be left out and others are go. So this is the direction, the evolutionary trend. Look at the investment trend. Any other industry, you don't find this much of investment in a year. Look at this. 2004, only 61 billion for whole world. There is countries, China, United States, Germany, Japan, Italy, all these countries. Only about 61 billion. Look at this. By 2015, I told you, 2015 is the first year which took the lead. So they invested 348 billion in the renewables. Solar is leading in this case, and the wind, all of the renewables. People start talking about it. Whether in the past they talk about climate change real or not, they're thinking, but still they're working like this. Now people thinking whether we can do something to get this solar power, which is without waiting for this, they are going to invest a lot of money. So this direction is the people are going some journey. The journey is end up with good, I don't know, but it looks like our world is investing heavily on this. Look at this by technology. These are the investment by 2004 to 2016. The technology-wise investment. Solar is dominating again, and other wind is coming again. Wind energy, other smart technologies. So when you come to solar, the engineers are talking about the intermittence issue, so many other technical barriers. So they are investing heavily on this. How do you stop this intermittence issue? How to stop this storage, battery storage power? So it's huge smart meters, technology, biofuel. So we do name it, we have it. So people are jump onto the ground and try to invest heavily on the various technologies, which are all related to the what we call renewable energy. So a huge coming up. So these are the region. Region is, of course, India is dominating. These are the general trend in the region. Sri Lanka has some amount. We look at the other countries are not that much active in our region, which is not good. Actually, Indian people are leading us. So okay, other countries not good. But this is the trend in the in our region. Look at this, wind is dominating, and the solar is small, that means we are not going with the world trend. So to me, so if a world trend is more solar trend technology wise, so our region is solar is very small, we are taking now. In Sri Lanka also same, we have only 20 megawatt solar, wind has about 120, we are very slow, we are watching until other people go further. Then the marathon, in the marathon race, you understand, no? Marathon race, if you start to do the big lead, is I don't think it's possible to some of course can, but you will be able to talk. I think we are, as a region, we are very slow in this technology that I'm thinking. So this is the thing, and also then a lot of investment coming on the solar PV prices, price competitiveness to making this industry. The solar is the market now moving up. Of course, wind technology is very advanced. We will know. Talking about, so look at in the international forum, they are talking about the solar is the subject. They are talking about coming in front, the leading the whole journey. In the among the other technologies, OTEC, in the wave energy, they are investing every single technology. They don't left out even a single thing. If you look at the forum, they are talking about every technology. I mean, some are maybe not viable, still they are investing money. This is the direction. See, then the main problem we are talking about is solar. We all understand solar is the solution. Of course, if we have battery storage, enough, Sri Lanka needs about 4,000 megawatt. If we can have 4,000 megawatt of battery, obviously the solar power that we have is enough for us. So question is the cost, right? So that's what we're talking about. Then they are investing heavily. But costs also, look at the prices in this presentation. They are talking about different countries. The cost varies depending on the how efficient your tendering system, how efficient your understanding of procurement, all these things. But different countries have different pricing formula. Look at this. Come to UEA, US dollar 2.4 cents per kilowatt. Very small, cheapest. Look at the 2.4. Uganda, for example, 16. Then the South Africa 6 cents. Argentina or somewhere is a 9. So again Chile 2.9. So look at the trend. Various countries have different prices. See, in the way you can see India, of course, 6. This is a earlier one, but new price trend is again cheaper. Look at the latest. This is all compilation of the actual tenders. These are the tenders floated in the solar industry last from last 3-4 years, I think. Look at this. They are talking about two Indian tenders. Chile is 2.9. Indian was again 2.7. So you see, it's a chaos. It started from $18 or 18 cents to various prices. So that means the price is on another war. The same as technological war. This industry is behaving very bad. That means you see the lot of thing happening in the world. This indication of this much of range, 2 cents to 18 cents price. Of course, these prices are, of course, sometimes some prices are include land, some prices are include taxes. But what I'm telling is the solar market is behaving wild in the world. So we understand that a lot of things happening in the world. So the latest Indian tender was about 2.7 cents US cent, which is about equal rupees, I think 6 rupees or something. So it's far cheaper than the coal. So there now a tendency is with the battery storage, so they are going to beat the coal and oil. By the time if you achieve this, the first my graph, the bottom, what is the energy in the ground will have no chance. So that's what happens. That's the direction. So because every country is now behaving, with some are doing fashion possibly. Because everybody is doing, I also do something. So some countries they don't need solar, but still because everybody else doing, they are also doing solar. So tendering everywhere, tendering is solar becoming a huge market in the world. These are the things. There are a lot of marketplace. I told you, I mean, solar industry is coming, large companies, a lot of project pipeline coming up. So the economic is a kind of a bubble coming on the solar. Solar become a buzzword for energy sector. So they are everywhere influenced. This itself will create some momentum on this thing. Some companies so they invest some money now to completely keep the balance sheet running. Some are putting this money to be a good guys. Some companies, all big companies, international multinationals are getting a lot of blame, saying that they're exploiting economics and they are a lot of practiced illegal or unethical business transaction. So to clear their names, they invest money. So it doesn't matter. Whatever reason, people are investing in this. So they don't tap this market. These are the 10. So the solar in South Asia, if you look at this, they have a lot of advantage. They are talking about this region is as a region, tropical climate, all these things. They have land, etc. So not really, I don't want to tell you all know what the benefit and all these things is. So I just go to straight away for this issue they are talking about in the meeting. They are talking about the major issue is though a lot of company wanted to invest in the solar, which is this enough energy available, but issue is the so-called integration. Grid integration. I don't know. I'm not an engineer, but I now have become engineer almost because I'm working with 1,000 engineers. They teach me now. I know more engineering than them because to working with them. So I catch up some of the fun. So they are called integration. They are talking about a lot of things happening up, demand, all these things, the solar and wind fluctuation system. So understand how the solar and wind movement, all these things. They are talking about this helping aggregation of the power plant together, all these things. How to address this issue of grid integration, grid instability, and all. We all don't talking about this. So why we all say why we don't spend on money on the solar, why we don't have a solar power plant, because of this instability issue, because of this grid integration. That always their technical theory, their management technique, they are looking at how do you reduce the power variability on this thing. Then they are talking about the forecasting technology. If you can forecast the shadow or the weather patterns accurately prior to certain hours, so you can address. There are a lot of things talking about. They are getting curves. So if forecasting ability is higher, the forecasting ability, better your integration solutions. They're talking so many things. I don't want to talk on this. You know all the things. So they are talking seriously spend a lot of money now, every country, to address the issue of grid instability. They talk about getting solar park concept, how to get a power system, power demand one side, power supply inside. So how do you match this thing? So they are more than technology. They are talking management. How do you manage a solar power system, system control improvements, and all those things. A lot of things happening in the world. I think once they are successful, we can also use this. These are they are talking about again. I don't want to be a respond on this. They are talking about a greening grid. Greening grid means that they are particularly to improve renewable energy absorption. There are a lot of model developed, and that meeting they presented. I just grab the graph. They are talking smart grid system. So traditional up there traditional system, and the down there is the distribution system. The future they are talking about. They said traditional grid system power flows on one direction. Maybe correct. Sri Lanka has same thing possibly. And the future they are talking about power come all directions. So future when the grid system, the power flows both way, and that means producers in all over. So that means with this system, so-called grid instability issue, all the issues we are talking about, correct? They are predicting in the future grid system. Those are the trend. So India they are talking about in the same concept, the greening the grid. So how to improve the solar power integration more? In that direction, the Indian have just launched a tender, the 750 megawatt. Indian Power Secretary says this concept of solar park. The solar park, so rather than having one single solar power plant, having a bigger solar power plant, which will bring to the one center or something, introduce so much of system control techniques to improve so-called weaknesses in the solar quality of solar power, so they can achieve some of the so-called green in the grid. So the green in the Ukraine, Vietnam, Turkey, they are talking about the greening grid system, entire grid system. The India is trying to put this one power plant as a system. These are the policies they are talking about. Integration. I don't talk about this. Or already this thing promoting dispersion models, or the storage, the demand side management. So many things they are talking about to this everything going for to how to improve more and more renewables. These are things. Other than that, they are talking about smart. So everybody talking about, if you want to increase more and more renewables, like intermittent renewable, like solar and wind type thing. We all talk in Sri Lanka, our engineers tell me, if you connect to the Indian grid, so bigger the grid, so we can address a lot of this, what you call the issues of intermittence issue they are talking about. So then this India's whole society now move in that direction. Now India and the South Asian, also entire region, China in that sense is a big way. They are promoting, if this is the solution, to convert so-called solar power direct to the power system. If the solution is linking all the country together, they are big way they are proposing. Look at the India-Nepal connection. India, we are trying to connect one line for India, Sri Lanka. We are, last 5 years we failed. But look at them. Everywhere there are 5-6 connections in the Nepal. Huge number, I don't know the number of project I can have, 10,000 megawatt or something, we have number. Look at this, in the Nepal connection. Kamali 10,000 megawatt, Upper Kamali 900, no, so much line. They are producing, developing a super highway, east-west high capacity transmission corridor. India is building big corridor up in the Nepal border, expecting this corridor can connect all the power in China or Tibet, whatever countries, all the countries. So this big high corridor is a linking power from mainly actually hydropower they are talking about Nepal. But the idea is to have a bigger system which will reduce the grid stability. It's a big highway concept coming up. So they are proposing big way in Sri Lanka, in the Nepal. Look at the Bangladesh. India, Bangladesh promoting, it's an interesting meeting there, they talk about big benefit between the, so India, Bangladesh, already there are many connections. So future, the very high HDV, the high density lines, what you call the various type capacity, some are low LT line also. India, Bangladesh, normal LT line also connecting, big. Start from LT line to big HDC, some technology, they are building a lot of connection with country. This is the whole thing they are doing, partly create a big energy market and also to increase volume of solar power in the country. This is Bhutan. Of course, Bhutan had a connection in the past. Bhutan and India, they are building more, and it's 10,000 megawatt, 5,000 megawatt. So big HVDC lines they are building. So this is a whole bunch of technology they are investing to improve this. Sri Lanka, India, of course, we are working on it at the moment. This is the line in the Sri Lanka which we are negotiating. Very small compared to the connection between the Bangladesh and India. Compared to Bangladesh, Nepal, big small one, which still we are working on it. In this analysis, they are talking about if you have a connection, if an entire SAARC region is connected each other, we can have more and more wind and solar can be integrated. So they are talking about saving of regional supply. They are talking about at least $100 billion saving per year can be achieved by just connecting $100 billion. Actually, without discount, they are about $222 billion just connecting the whole countries. So, but connecting, you improve the renewables, which will add. This is what they are talking about. The Sri Lanka, of course, we have a small amount. They say changes to install capacity by 2040, only 1% reduction of our power needs. If you can connect to India and region of this, if you join this whole group of connecting, 1% can be reduced. Those are the estimated cost, the cross-border connectivity. So they are talking about is the cross-border concept is the concept in future of our energy. Whether we like or not, we have to join this. So look at this. I show you later what happened. Global interconnection. So they are talking about. Look at this. So China is got this idea very, very smart. The Chinese company called Global Energy, some company, they jump on say, India, Sri Lanka are now thinking whether to build a connection manner or, so we are thinking whether connecting this line with benefit. So in Chinese company say, look, okay, you think about, I will build. So Chinese company come and jump over, say they will invest all these things. They have built in the Sri Lanka line, they built this Japan, look at this connection, Pakistan and Europe, in this case come to Asia, Europe line, then the China grid, then you have Jakarta and Indonesia line, so then the Japan line, Korea line. So they said if a government or don't want to invest, we invest. Chinese company come forward, China divided their country into people. Okay, one company invest into Sri Lanka line, other company invest Japan. To keep it, they think they know smart idea. If we have this into Sri Lanka line ready now, when we had a power shortage now, when we want to increase our solar, we just jump in. If you have a cheap charge throughput or whatever transmission charge, we jump in. We are forced to accept, use this. So they are thinking. While the countries are not moving, China is trying to grab this opportunity as a business opportunity, not the renewable energy investment. So it's a huge. They are planning already. Silk Road type thing. Their plan is to entire world connected, a connection investment done by Chinese company. That means once you do this, whether you like or not, you are forced to use. Once you are forced to use, so China is basically taking the lead. So again, the benefit of the solar power, benefit of this solar renewable energy industry completely go to China again. So because we are thinking always, so this what are you talking about? 300 million, possibly 400 million China, India Sri Lanka line. So Chinese company they spend money and build a line. So and we'll get it. So then that's the direction. Whole world is connected. This is the actually to promote renewable energy world. So while we are thinking, the whole world is moving very, very fast, more than what we are thinking. So this is an example is when I was working in the Raktapura time, we had I'm from Manragal, a company, we had a Geuda, remember. We sell Geuda in kilos or sack of gold. The China, these guys, Thai guys bought this for the ornament type. So finally, they discovered a technology to convert Geuda into blue gem, sapphire, blue sapphire. Look at this. By the time when we discover technology, our old Geuda has gone. Or we thought these guys are poor, these guys, they are just buying our stone, which are unused. So same thing happening. So the Chinese guys are come forward and see the opportunity. By the time we think about they have gone, this is the direction in the world we are talking. So we have to be in this. Sri Lanka, of course. Now this is the Qatar. I don't know to you talk much on this Sri Lanka. I will save time talk about. See, we are in the biomass country. Good. Almost 45% of our energy come from biomass, which is in the morning I was talking in the forum. Though 45% of our energy come from biomass. Jayasingh is looking at me. We are using from biomass, but nobody talk about this. Nobody care about biomass. No biomass market, no biomass demand, no shop. We have everywhere petrol station everywhere, claddings and beautiful color, bulb, all these things. That's which is about 20%, less than 20%, I think, petroleum sector. But 45% of the biomass sector, nobody talk about. No ministry, no government, no policy, no market. If you want to buy a fuel load, you have nowhere to go. So we have completely, we have slavery idea. We have been forced, the energy is the oil. That's why we are mental conditioned. We have been conditions. We have been framed somebody. We don't know, we are surviving with the biomass, 45%. But we think oil is our whole life plan, which is not correct. So we have been framed by external. We are very vulnerable to be framed by the external factors. Our ideas are not really always our independent. Those are the issues. Sri Lankan, of course, we are now working on this. This is the mix of in the 2015 we had basically thermal drop, and of course coal has come up, and of course major hydro is there. Those I don't talk very much. Renewable generation, maybe I should skip this. These are the Sri Lankan situation. I think you will know. We have already small power plant, 500 megawatt, all these things, which is not interest to you, I think. We have, of course, Sustainable Energy Authority has done the solar map. At least we know our solar potential. At least while China is trying to invest in the marine cable all over the world, we still have a map. Still only map, not much. So at least map we have. That's good. So these are some project, Punarine project and High Mana. We have project, but nothing implemented. And so Bonarium project, Mana project, these are the solar potential. And so now government, with a lot of discussion with the stakeholders, now they say by 2050 Sri Lanka can be renewable. My opinion is, if you want to do this, you must have a clean coal technology, you must have LNG. So people are talking about, if you want to promote more and more coal and wind, we must have a base power which is maybe clean coal. We are all against coal, some people, but why not we go for clean coal? If we can develop clean coal or develop LNG with the objective to harness more and more our own solar power, our own wind. We have a huge wind potential. We have a huge wind potential. They say 50% plant factor type good quality wind in Mana. So we don't do this because we have base load is not. So I think something has to be done. My opinion is we must do clean coal, we must do the LNG, not just to have a base power. We must put this in front in order to capture more and more renewable until world develop the technology, develop the China investing in this Indo-Sri Lanka line, China investing in whole international transmission system, huge high system. We must get ready to get all the solar and wind developed, prepared to once the world is moving and the whole energy market start, we can move. So this is direction, but I don't think we are doing so. We are taking very negative sometimes. We think this is not good. Of course, we are fighting over each and everything. My opinion, must do this. So this is the things. So role of engineers. So I don't want to say anything. Only thing I can say, don't be left out. World is moving very fast. So if what happened to us in a marathon race, guy who run far behind, most unlikely he will come to the even finish line. So therefore, role of engineers is to learn what's happening. The world is moving very fast than we are thinking. Read this thing. Don't just reject what people are doing. Don't just reject what China doing. So be with this. So I don't think I should tell you what the role of engineers. You know, you are very, very knowledgeable scientists, very smart people, but we are, as an individual, as I start my presentation, as an individual, we are very good, clever people. All are good people, good, positive people. I don't think anybody is negative. They are all positive, all are intelligent, very smart people, but as a group, there is something wrong. The individual character that we have can be demonstrated as a group. Sri Lanka is through. Sri Lanka has enormous resources. Don't underestimate. I have traveled many countries in the world. I don't think I have not missed any country. I have been extensive travel many countries. I have seen all the power plant, but we are better. Our people are clever. Universities also, every university course we are at top. Our Sri Lankan guys are every university course in abroad. We are doing very well, first or second place. So we are very good. But unfortunately, we must work together. But don't think you as engineers has no role to create institution. You have no role to create policies. So I think we must create some institutions set up. We must create policies to harness our intellectual capacity, our positive attitude as an individual we have. How can we keep that momentum as a group? So as a group we are failing. So therefore, we must don't left out. As institute engineers, have your responsibility to learn this thing, what's happening. Don't think Chinese are that very fool to invest this much of money. Huge investment. So join the race and at least go with them. That's my request. Thank you very much for inviting me. And I didn't have time to prepare today. I'm very busy. I thanks Chamila to put them together. So I just first time my presentation. So I just came for the meeting. So if I didn't do well, I apologize for you. This is not the presentation, to be honest. These are compilation of some of the ideas come from the meeting. So I apologize if I embarrass you all as a professional group. I behave badly or something. This is the maximum I could do. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Batode. was a very interesting lecture. But now it's the floor is open for questions, and I think he's ready with the answers. Let me start. Yeah. So let me start asking the first question. You asked us not to be left out. That's very good. We should never be. And as a government, you are a policy maker. So the government might have already set up some policies. I have two questions. With the first, as a government, in our policy making, are we going to be left out in the world or not? Have we set our policies in the right track? Number one. And number two, if government has already set policies, so whatever the policy it is already set, if the engineers and the institutions are not capable of, or if there are lack of resources, is the government ready and willing to give them enough resources to meet the targets? Thank you.
I think very good question. I think government as a government, it doesn't want to be left out, to be honest. Honestly, it doesn't want to be. But it is actually. It's a way we moving. So it is our job as a professional group, and you and me. What is government? After all, government is us. If we are left out, as a country, the government is left out. My opinion is, we maybe sometimes complain the government is not going the race with other countries, not well, but again still our responsibility. We have to make sure the government is doing right. So this is a key issue. So if you all think we are doing enough with our knowledge, our expertise, our background, it's good. But blame cannot be just given to the government. So we must help the government to get the right institution. Definitely, my opinion is the institution cannot be the issue. So that the government doesn't know. If we tell them, we want this institution set up, we want this arrangement to work with the other countries to do with these things, they definitely, because I don't think any government wants to be left out. I don't think anybody wants to be left out. I don't think any professional group wants to be left out. But we must do it. The government side. But government has a second question. If we really ask for something which are meaningful, I think they will provide. But if they don't provide, it is again our job to make sure they are convinced. And they are the ones. That's my humble opinion. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Balapada. I was very pleased to hear you say many things that we have been pushing ourselves. In a way, I was surprised at how come it is you who are making the presentation and not Dr. Yeba. Well, for one suggestion of start the session, maybe you should go and make the same presentation to CPD. That will hopefully change their way of thinking.
We have
Some here, I hope so. But exactly the way we should be thinking, we can't be left out. And when we are talking about where it starts, there's another definition, indigenous. Sri Lanka is so blessed, right? I don't know. All our indigenous languages are renewable. So that is the starting point. In that respect, I hope the government is taking very important moves. I hope the government has made up its decision very firmly, which is what ministers sometimes say on the television, that there shall be no more. Because, one thing I want to correct you, there are nothing called clean coal, it's a myth. And primarily we don't have coal. So if you try to clean up whatever the coal that comes in, then the whole idea is lost out. talking about coal as a source of power. That's what I think. It's not going to work. It cannot work anywhere in the world. Don't even talk. In that respect, there are no role for coal at all. Then there is reality, what we have. So yesterday I was very pleased to attend the seminar where you are talking about this 60 plants of 1 megawatt solar, which is a very good move. It's really a starting point. My suggestion to you is the next tender with the Honorable Minister Permission will come soon. That must go along with storage. Level of storage, Dr. Vijay can say, I think what level of storage needed to overcome what you mentioned, intermittency, and that's all. Please work that on that one. Make sure without waiting that we go that route immediately.
So one thing is we shouldn't be extremist source of carried away balloon. So I suggested to both the theory, because if you are talking about more solar, more renewables, it takes some time. The way China is done. I don't think they are expecting to do it now. They are just planning. So Sri Lanka was, I mean, if you want to achieve this target, so we may need coal. Because it's called, if your coal has a lot of environmental problem. Because I heard the clean coal technology can solve all the environmental problems. Otherwise, you nonsense. I don't know, that's what we think the same. So I mean, so we need, so until we get to the solar power or wind, it take another, let's say, 10 years or 20 years, we have survived. So now our question is, unless we do it, so otherwise, what happens is, you have to start diesel, so immediately, whatever requirement for power sector, he may not be able to meet with the only solar at the moment. So for that, at the moment, so far, according to the one, I was listening to many presentations, they also not convinced 100% solar, 100% wind are possible. But India, while they are developing 175,000 megawatt, they are building another 100,000 of solar. So they are improving. So go far with this. So that's the direction I think we must think. Because we have no environmental. So otherwise, what happens is, if you don't do something like this, so at least LNG or diesel has to come, because we cannot wait until the solar technology develop, until the batteries are developed. We need to have a power. It doesn't count. It just, I think we want to have a balance. So as a group, our end target has to be a good one. We go to the world, and once the battery storage or whatever protocol develop, you must be able to switch off. So until such time you can't migrate.
Now, what you said is true 5 years ago, not anymore. I'm not talking about 100% solar, 100% wind. Remember, we are 1,300 megawatts of hydro already. And also now the government, I don't know, sure? Well, on this year, go for.
Because hydro, at the moment, no more. At the moment, hydro was dried up. We are not running at all. Hydro was almost zero.
But I saw just the paper saying you have a 30.
Now,
What I'm saying is, okay, this is on beer. So that again, without looking at my friend Nanura, I said bad marriage. That's why I ended up. Never mind. But the question is, okay, we do need that. We can work on that. My gut feeling is we are not working. We are 5 years, 10 years late. Let's start now. And like government is not talking about anything. I don't know what this is. That is an interim measure I certainly support. Rather than going more. We don't need anything. You see, like I repeat myself saying that there nothing more being told. Therefore, let's go for LNG as intermediate because hopefully we'll have our own gas from this country. Fill the gap, we will have the LNG. That's better option. But if you have the guts, there I can take some solutions. But because we are changing the such a slow manner, and also my friend Amila was in 2050 to go 100% renewable. I said to it, 30. Let's go in that direction, but no more coal, please.
I think we must have make a huge differences between the old engineers and all the things. But unless we work together, the noble objective of achieving this so-called renewable cannot go. It work well. So if you sometimes you push too much on this, stick to break. Also.
What is too much?
Also, the question is, next 5 years, what are we doing? Next 10 years, what are we doing? How? That's the question. Next 5 years, entire base load water, we can't take from solar at the moment until Next 10 years possibly we might get a battery or those the other. But immediately we have know that having coal power plant doesn't mean we are entirely history. Sorry, so coal power plant will finish in 20 years. So 20 years finished. So after 20 years, is it calculated? So I think we must look at that kind of positive thing and avoid all the environmental damages and so build the coal LNG, not to have a coal LNG, but to achieve our noble target of achieving the what you call solar or wind technology. By the time President Earth is developed this, so we have worked toward that. That's my argument.
That's true, that's very true, but the change must start now.
Exactly, yeah. Yes.
I'm KK White, I'm engineer. So, Mr. Chairman, allow me to talk a few words about it. Thank you very much for the very enlightening talk this evening and the worldwide experience that we brought to our audience here. I want to raise a very simple technical question on which I puzzled and I know you are experienced to answer that. For your environmental ministry days, I can understand the significance of Barack because he has been sponsoring geothermal power using coal like for 2 decades now, and there are also is this concern. Our change is concerned because now it's, as you said, 40-45% coal
Yes.
that may use in the country, have that 100% of renewable energy. But day by day, we have been getting into, say, even in the rural village, people don't want to use the little bit of firewood that they can collect and put it into the fire. They are going for LP gas imported from Lanka. Now there is this myth or pride thinking, I don't really know, that the firewood will get bronchitis and this and so on. But I heard from you, maybe 20 years back in the ministry, that the most harmful thing is what comes out in a certain micron range in the atmosphere, coming out from oil. And if the particle size is large, it won't go and block your lungs. If the particle size is small, it will go through the lungs. But certain particular size is badly there oil by our plants and maybe coal also. So what I am going to speak to clarification is coal wood power or coal wood burning, which is gradually diminishing even from the village. There what is happening is, for LP gas, very nice clean coal, and the coal wood becomes garbage. Take all the Colombo houses, the coal cut and everything goes as garbage and thrown out. Whereas it is very usable energy. Now, is coal wood that harmful? The gas is emanating from coal wood as much as that emanating from oil fire or maybe coal fire. Thank you.
I think that's one of the things we must do as a business. So we must approach our vision. Our problem, we don't appreciate our own resources. So we have something I told you, we have to frame our cycle. To be honest, agriculture and the tractor and diesel like fuel damage more to the health. That's it. They emit more than 2.5 microns particles. But biomass doesn't emit that much big. So some bigger, more than 10, 15, and those are, of course, that's a problem, but it's not killing thing. If you compare to diesel fuel, small, and the biomass fuel small, but the diesel is more harm, or petrol is more harm. So that emit very small particles, small particles. So therefore, but we have been told what happened when the international groups or whatever sponsoring us money and our resources are completely neglected, all the LPG gas, all that. So what should have been done in our technology science course? we must spend a lot of time to develop technology, develop of course we have done a lot of smart lighting, soil timers out there, I have representation, we have done a lot of stores, efficient stores. So how much money we spend for the process of our farmers? They are Iceland, Greenland countries, they have a lot of job. They invest heavily on this. Every house has a job. They are scientists, they are engineers working for their countries. They didn't wait for US to develop job. Green Iceland, they free humanity. Every household has a job power. They heat in their houses almost 10 minutes. So weather reports. They are every farm has a wind turbine. So every country, they engineers and scientists invest their time and money to develop their own resources. So having almost 50% of our energy come from biomass, how much is spend money? How many engineers are working on it? How many engineers are doing research to how to improve our food, the processing technology? But without saying this, we spend a lot of money. Look at I have a Baba, very poor area. Our houses are very small. But our countryside, in my village, very claddings, all beautiful, tiny. So the petrol station is like this. So we have spent a lot of money. We have investors, our scientists are very happy to invest a lot of money for this. But nobody wants to invest in the 400% technology. So can we buy a chip, 400 chip back, carry smart way? I told my people, why don't we have our 400 store or market, same as petrol station. You will spend time. So the whole problem is we are not appreciating our own resources. Not solar, not wind, but even biomass. The 45% of things come from biomass. But no, we have as policymakers, we don't spend a lot of policies. We all are engineering universities. We spend very, very less time. So this is a whole problem. So we are misled by our people. In fact, diesel and petrol fuel is more harmful than them. But if a fuel is harmful, we must invest time and do the technology. So there's something wrong with this. So we must be look locally and think we are not spending time to get our country right. So the whole world is going in that direction. We are not following everybody. Yes, please.
Thank you, Dr. Bhattacharya, for the interesting lecture. I'm Devendra Bhattacharya. I have a question about the solar plants which I am continuing to do. I understand the argument is very much interested on this, and you asked about comparing is also regard. So my question is, after using solar panels for another 20 or 20 years, have you decided, the government decided the disposal mechanism for these panels, because if you really touch it, then you cannot just dispose it to the environment. Even on the tender that we have released, the disposal is mentioned except the buyback agreement. But is there a mechanism that we have decided some disposal?
It's a good question. We have to do some system on this. At the moment, we are asking the small scale every. Once we develop the more and more power plant, that has to be developed in the future. But when we work together, still I don't think we are agreed. How much of solar, how much of wind can be absorbed system, how to reach there, how much of LNG needed for this. So that direction is not agreed upon. So the so-called disposal, of course we have to look at it, not only this, CHL bulb, LED bulb, and all other things, batteries, but disposal is not for that power. Even a telephone for us, how much telephone we are having? So I have billions of telephone. So disposal is not for us, but everything else. So chemicals, so chemicals, you have to put it. Do we have a system very much? Not much. Full quality. We pump agrochemical bottles, so we have a lot of problems in our farm. We are working on it, but still so much to be done for disposal of this type of thing. Not only solar, it's very, very, very point.
But actually, I don't think that solar panels have that much of a downside unless if it is cadmium. That in these ones, the sun one is silly. Cellular also that.
I don't know the sciences of that. Anyway, we have disposal of.
There's the international program that is already established almost 99% of it can be recycled.
Cycles, huh?
Yeah,
Are they toxic?
Toxicity, yeah.
toxic, there's a TB cycle program, even the model manufacturers now, lot of them have almost free of charge recycling facility, but it is not toxic.
Not toxic. But if you have a system disposal.
Yeah, now for example, in Germany, they have a PV cycle for the system, where they almost, they have a proper mechanism. There's no toxicity at all for aluminium and
Please.
Actually, my question is, we all realize that we are surrounded by sea. Why haven't we actually exploited the wave and the tidal energy?
That's a very good question.
Has any institution or any company like really, maybe even the government, like have we actually garnered a sort of like feasibility, like how we can harvest this energy and do something about it?
See, Chester, I don't know whether my point I didn't put you very clearly. I think we have been framed by some external factors. We have been framed. I don't think have independent thing. Look at not only their energy. Are we using our sea? Or how can us consume it in the sea? The country where we have a sea can be a big so much resource, not only fish. So there are leisure activities and all these things, but even those are easy. Our wave energy may be difficult. Even are we spending enough time? Are we spending enough effort? How to use our sea? So that's the job of us, we scientists. So that's all what we are. I think we are becoming. I don't know tell you. What I study. When I was being given my topic was for my professor. The topic may not be about us. And I think we spent my 3 years working on this. Finally, that's why we supposed to so I think we are as a nation, as a group, as scientists, I don't think we are really we help our society, government understand our role. So not only language, of course we have languages. But even the solar, lot of things what we are not doing. That's problem. Sea is enormous sea resources. So we are not doing enough to do this. So what other countries doing? So we have a lot of work to do. That because not your fault. Do we have systems to put together to develop energy, to use the very resources? So that's our the institution work. Every area, if you have institution correct, things move. In your organization, if you have a company, for example, but a nice structure, board system, CEO, chairman, and the whole system, still wrong. You don't know system in the mechanism, research, all of it, nothing works. So something wrong in the scientific research and technology development. Every field. So we have to do something, get our institution, like we said, like institution engineers act, I think, after pass to put at least engineering council or something. So how long it take? That's at least something to put the engineers together and make it. Auditing all this, not that. So, as I mentioned, that is the system. Maybe you as a young man must be thinking about how to do a village. So what do you do? So, can you create an institution to work? There must be a setup and mechanism, the system or the common system or something for you to go and do the work. So, unfortunately, so far we have failed to get the right institute set up, right regulation, right arrangement of young people and professionals to contribute the knowledge that we have. Unless we individually working in isolation, doing something, it doesn't work. So we have to do something. I think your engineers has to study seriously. And why I as an engineer, you as an engineer, cannot do what we can't want to do. So that's the thing. We have to do one thing.
I was actually reading some of the research papers done by University of California and University of Woodward, like they have actually found like several really feasibility studies for this period. And like they have also said like maybe the southern coast is like most preferable location. So I mean, what's the government's policy for this like for the initiate like these new sort of energy?
If you have a proposal like this, of course, when you have a sustainable SCA director there, we can at least consider how that the final phases of it. But any investors there come up with proposal, we can consider. A lot of problem there, but still not corrected. But we have project like this, we can consider, but still nothing in happening. So there must be investors, right, direct, getting, nothing happening. Yes.
So I have actually seen some of the work that Kerala University Utilization from Wales. I don't think it's very relatable that we looked at, but it was on a small scale. I think it's not like various places, including Matakulia, and they got good results. But from that experiment, you want to make it a workable model in that experiment, there's a new big gap. And that, of course, I think the company has to help. Government has taken to increase the funding for R&D and the earlier National Science Foundation, and so now they are spending 50 million. So any result from the end of project. But I also agree with Dr. Bhattakur that we have a sea there. We are hardly doing anything very much to make use of the sea. For instance, transport from say Bangalore or even more to the Colombo in the morning takes about 1.5 to 2 hours. But the boat can run much faster along the sea. Yeah. But we are not thinking of this, and even the few people who think of this, I think there are private sector can do it. If the government gives something encouragement to that. Thank you.
I think something serious wrong, as you said. People like you have interest, but there is no mechanism. The people who come and meet me, Japanese, German, Hungary, all people, you don't believe how they have been induced there. They come and ask me, they run Japanese company, world number 2 by the company. If I start paying to have a 10 megawatt biomass power plant in Kampa, this guy is himself. I try to see them. Pushing at 10 megawatt, 10 megawatt power plant for world number 2 company. So they are induced. They have created the government must have some system to push this guy to do this. And they come and so various factors they are coming for, various management, water technology, wave energy, many countries come and talk. Whether they are there, I don't know. So many people come. Every 5-6 people come. So there are a lot of interest created by those government, create interest and jump out of the country and do this. So, but unfortunately, why can't we have probably not be that so people like you, does our system is encouraging us. So provide some push. Everybody jump and do something. So they as same as other countries do. I think something wrong here. We are not getting that stuff. I mean, interest is not created in the economics. Please.
Now there are some countries that consumer is encouraged to install power plants at some other places with the agreement with the energy supply company, whatever the like a CB, and then their electricity bill is reduced, and with that has become more economical or profitable for that company rather than installing a plant and selling. And then getting reduction in the electricity mechanism to the adapted. Also, they can be encouraged if they buy at a higher rate at peak hours, so that they will even encourage to spend for storage.
So we also have some similar. Sangram is a similar one actually, but the domestic rooftop program. But energy we need talk about not at the moment not. We consider or we can consider in future. So new thing must come. So, but ultimate objective has to be good government. So we have to keep engaged maximum little bit of everyone has different unique ideas. If you guys must go, I'm sure everybody has a very, very bright ideas. But they are shy to come forward and implement. They don't want to take a risk. So, lot of ideas. Smart people. But those smart ideas, we don't have a system to make it clear. That's what we have to do. So, I think I suggest engineers to maybe 3 days of session and discuss and why everywhere you can't like why don't you try? Why you not trying our project, new project? Lot of ideas there are, but those ideas died at the birth. So that's what I'm worried about. So where other countries moving, because I have a lot of experience working with other countries, those people, they are very fast moving. I think we have to go with this. So that's what we have to, that's your job. And our doctors is guided by you. And when you don't guide them, problem. So just come up with the sound system so everybody can learn good differently.
Doctor, I have some, thank you for the earlier lecture. I have some thanks, just want to thank you. As you know, we have already incorporated our plan. Because of that, maybe I'm quite wrong. So if the solar power reached to about 200 megawatts, there are the new transient and there is a huge share of them in the base. So I guess we should not, I mean, that is from the generation plan that coming out from the CEO, from the results. And the other thing is, if I say there's a government have announced that they are planning to install 1 gigawatt solar energy in Sri Lanka. So with that energy, don't we have to install increase our base load for that?
No. So I don't think we should go for solar right there immediately. We must be working with the other world. So as I said, my example, Germany. You don't want to wait until the German technology is discovered. We must be ready for this. So we must go with the other countries. So by the time, 10 years time, 20 years time, if the solar battery storage or some technology, better technology is reached, so we are not ready for this. So we don't stop all the solar power plant, stop all the energy plant, just jump on the hand, doesn't work. So you must know at certain degree what is the maximum solar it can have. It can be 1, 2, but until last year we have only 1 megawatt. So it can be. Last year, only last month, I think we started to do solar only. Not good. 1 megawatt, do you think is correct figure? I mean, we can have at least 2-3 megawatt. So I mean, we should not get carried away by all base load, but whole world is moving to the hydro. So we must have base load. Of course, clean coal I support, but we don't do it for it. But if whole world is moving that direction, we must go a little bit like that. Maybe 200, maybe 100, we don't know. But can't be 1 megawatt. Solar also must be some big way among the lot. Of course, base load has to come from maybe diesel or LNG or coal or other things. I think that's not possible. So that's not true. Whether our generation mix is correct, or are we working with research or technology or wave energy? Who knows? Who knows if wave energy you will have a reverse technology comes, new technology which will come, but until we wait such law. So I will give you such a simple example. I went to Ganesha, wind power plant. This guy, they were in the same setting. The state government and the engineers all very against this because they will start there, they were not given a time, and they said this is useless, cost was very high, at no point in this, not good technology, all this. They were starting in this small little road. I think they are very also the place. But we jump on and dig, and some others start building something like that. So they were selling our, small, very, very small amount. Now they are getting they are become a technology, well, we getting technology, not wind power. We don't say the technology, wind power to the Spain grid. The business is selling wind turbine. But in IR calculation, at that time they were taken that benefit. So finally they have been converted to a world leading technology power in wind. So they still leave out that time wind is not good, integration, we need base load, all these things. So they can't do it. So like this, that this Ramlan mentioned, if Sri Lanka can master in wave now, the first project Europe, and get the master in the technology, next few years later, all other countries are not doing the because they have technology. Sri Lanka can be a technology provider, the whole region in future. So you know that way. Not only that we are doing solar, not because just to have 100% electricity, but technology that we learn can be shared. Wave is good thing everywhere because nobody is doing at home. If Sri Lanka has a big sea, if it decided that we become a master of technology, so selling technology is a big money, not selling power. So he started what are doing? They are selling technology. They are not actually best agriculture country, but they are selling agriculture technology, not agriculture. Why we are only thinking about power? Why can't we have smart in the wavelength technology? So that's what I'm talking about. We all 1,000 engineers together. If we work together, okay, in 2 years, 5 years time, Sri Lanka becomes the number one in the wave technology. Put up several power, sponsor 1 megawatt, 2 megawatt, and the market, and go and build in Nepal or sorry, all this stuff. So that's what we look at, not only power, but the technology also.
We are reaching about, it's only 2-3 minutes to 7 o'clock. So it's very interesting that the enthusiasm is very high. We can still leave for some few questions. And this auditorium is graced with by very big decision makers also in some two. We also have the chairman, Ceylon Electricity Board here, and we have the Director General Sustainable Energy. You have to be in the forefront, not seated there. In the race also, sustainable energy has to be, now you are the Sustainable Energy Authority. So I would like both of you to tell something to us and to Dr. Bhattacharya in front of all of us about something. Yeah, I kindly request both of you to. After that, we can have some few questions, maybe 2-3, then we can wind it up.
Good evening, everybody. Congratulations, Dr. Bhattacharya, for the nice presentation. I thought I will be listening here after and talk because I come here to get feedback because these days I get feedback from almost 22 million people because all of them have become our customers. We are the single largest service provider in this country. So within 22 million comments from one organization and one chairman is from this. We have provided all these things and by the time everybody goes home, the most important thing is when you switch it on, the power should come on. Otherwise I might get another call on my phone. So having looked at what the Bhattacharya was presenting and looking at the emphasis placed on the generation plan, generation expansion plan, etc. Of course, he is doing our best and we are accommodating as much as possible the suggestions, the new ideas, new trends, new technological findings. For example, look at the price slump in the PV market. And therefore, we have scope for going for that. Earlier 10 years back, the prices were too high for thinking about it. And so, CEP is willing to, and CEP has accommodated many solar, and I hope our next generation plan will contain more than 300-400 megawatts of solar to be implemented in the next 3-4 years. And maybe a similar amount of wind. But of course, we have to do these things carefully because we are an islanded system. And we remember the several blackouts that we experienced in the recent past. So, and when the system was small, okay, you can manage easily. But now the system is large and we are going to higher layers of over voltage transmission, and very soon we are going to the 400 kV level, and then managing these systems is not very easy, and also there are financial constraints, and above all the supplying the right reliability and the right cost, and we are still at the 12 can afford it. And therefore, the affordability of people also in one of our minds. And then the quality of supply and how to improve them even under the constraint conditions. They are also in our mind. So our plans are prepared and implemented looking at all these challenging demands. The demand for having integrating more renewable energy, demand for right reliability, demand for low cost electricity. So all these things we have to manage in the right context. So I think we are doing, and of course there are space for improvements, and we are doing it. And I was noting that 45% of our total energy, primary energy, comes from biomass. But there are technological issues in converting this technological logistic issues in converting this biomass into electricity. It is a very high quality of energy, so the conversion has their own difficulties. I think Parakrama knows that we are struggling to get a few hundred megawatts of biomass into our power system because of the logistic issues, land issues, and despite that we are paying some 20 plus rupees per unit, but there are issues to be solved. And so every technology has their own issues and pluses and minuses. So we should look in the right context and manage the system so that as a third world country and working towards to be a middle income country, of course we are calling ourselves middle income, but of course going in the right direction, we need a lot of effort. So for industry to survive or people to use electricity, if we make it too exorbitant, so it will be too much for them. So we keep all these things in mind and keep in the right direction, and of course we hope that we are already 50%, 40 to 50% renewable electricity generation every year, including our life cycle. So which is something we can be proud of, and which many countries cannot boast about. Many Germany is struggling to make their total electricity generation 20% by 2020. The whole Europe is struggling to be 20% their electricity by 2020 and 50% by 2050. Whereas 2015, 50% of our electricity came from renewables. That's a good thing. But how to go for the same in the future is the question. So we must get a good deal from biomass sector. That is one of the biggest potential area that we can get. And of course, nevertheless, because biomass has no issue for the sea, it's a dispatchable problem. Whereas solar and wind, we have some issues. Of course, we are trying to sort out. But the battery storage is still a little more expensive, about $1 million per 1 megawatt. So that kind of expenditure. But I think the prices will come down. That's what happened to the solar panel market. So we are hoping with a positive mind, and let us see that we go in the right direction with the right policymakers in our ICs, and with this government is trying their best to take the country in the right direction, and we will do our maximum support to people and the government to have right kind of quality, make us get the right place.
Thank you, brother. And I get something from Renewable Sustainable Energy. This is all about sustainable energy. Okay.
I want to comment on what Dr. Bhattacharya said about what the GD is doing. Why are we contributing? But sir, you must remember that the atmosphere and environment are nothing to be done. And good thing that the supply is also here. How difficult it is to get permit. How many places we have to go. Gas Corporation has been here for 3-4 years because they have sort of background and the sort of strength to stay on. However, small time people can't do that. So that's a question to the answer is, why can't we make the system much more favorable and sort of supportive, which was what was expected from the sustainability sector. I know they have their own problems, but that is something that must be looked at a very high level. Why should you have to go to 13, 14 different organizations and justifying to get that permit. To clear that one, the engineers should be there. Engineers are ready to work. So this is the most important thing that we have. So you are senior, very senior person in the government. So you have to look at that one and somebody the authority comes under you. You can have clear that because all the organizations are presented in the approval committee, but that are not served purpose. So you clear that one, engineers should be there.
So what's the why it not happening? So, but if I don't want to write context in this forum, they are talking about this in the forum. We are looking at limited forms. We have been trying to think about very limited forms. That means there is a Chinese guy say, why is Sri Lanka import coal and diesel by ship? Why not you import electricity from Nepal and Bhutan? He said, like you are investing in harbour. Chinese guys say they will invest in the marine cable across the line. They need some more work. They will invest directly. So in future, the energy transport will not be done by ship. No overseas transport. The power plant will be at the power plant site. We import electricity, not coal. Hydropower, which I show you, 100,000 megawatt, and Myanmar has about 40,000 megawatt. Like, lot of hydro. They say, why not import hydro from Chinese investor line? So we are always thinking for next 40 years, import coal.
Why import?
So I'm not talking about that. If you not think about regional concept, if you can import electricity from Nepal through this line, cheaper than the rate of diesel or coal. So it's done. That's the technology. The India is big way. They import all everything from Nepal and Bhutan. Now Pakistan and India is fighting. But they are now working in the two lines building. So the India want to export from Mexico to the Pakistan. From the Indian coal power plant side, they build the power plant at the coal power plant. Without import transport of coal. So that we must look at that option also. So how do you join this race? So when you thinking all of this, I'm importing the diesel, I'm importing electricity. So that type of thing. So like scientific push us, whether we like or not, so they will force us to import electricity rather than importing diesel or coal. So we must look at openly.
Yeah, I think Engineer Jai Singh asked about. Right. I think no. What he asked is about why not we have a favorable environment in the country, especially at CEB and Sustainable Energy Authority and the Ministry, so that the investors here can produce and sell their energy production to the country easily without going into lot of barriers.
That is, we did lot of things, framework, create a CA, we have a philosophy, common system, we have a tendering system, all these things. So everything we are trying to do the site institution. Still, as you correctly mentioned, we don't have a correct institution. That's our problem. So it's a miracle. So finding a correct setup, it is acceptable, not easy. So we are every group, this group, some group, this group, different. So bringing a common institution is not easy. So government does not work for this. But still, but with this institution, of course, SC has done about 200, 300 projects. It is must appreciate. If SC was not created and the tariff system was not introduced, by now I don't think we have 200 projects. So that is been done, but that's not enough. We must create new institutions. So more and more new institutions. So I mean, we have been successful in hydro. Now, like this must go. More the issue is still the institution.
And now we have taken too much of time of Dr. Batagoda. I saw some gentleman there raising his hand for some time. I don't know whether his question is still there, and that would be the last question. Excuse me, everybody.
Actually, my question was, you were talking about the technological advancement in Sri Lanka. So, as you also mentioned that your PhD thesis was not relevant to Sri Lanka. So, I also have a lot of my graduates who went overseas to do their PhDs and stuff like that, but I don't think there is enough funding or facilities made available within Sri Lanka in order to do something for our own country. So any ideas on that, looking at giving more funding to universities and stuff like that?
Funding, I don't think funding is a issue, to be honest. So there's a funding available, but making sure funding is issue. But funding, with the funding, you have to you are engineer, you are teacher, lot of spending money, produce good engineers, produce good scientists. So beyond that point is issue. Last time, remember 2 years ago, I was in the Deputy Secretary. He allocated a lot of money for the science and technology. End of the year, he found nothing was moved. 2 billion rupees invested and finally not moving. There are no mechanism to use, even though funding available. The university, sometimes the university cannot start business product. The institution has something wrong, So funding are the big issue. So even though funding is there, I mean, do we think we have the culture set up and the social background and get out and do some work, create a company, create a business, export, go to Myanmar, go to Kenya, and do a culture. See, I mean, must be a culture, That culture is not created. So what I'm talking about is money, I don't think issue. Resources are not issue. Knowledge is not issue. Something that something I don't know, to be honest. So you must have create a culture within us to do this thing. So that's what you have to look at what's missing gap. All the proposals, the institution that you propose, is not working properly, unfortunately. So that doesn't mean it's not there. We must have some setup. I don't think money is a big issue.
Make one comment on this.
Okay, how can I say no to you?
Yes.
Okay.
So, it is just arising out of this. I think our Sri Lanka setup is now changing rapidly.
Yeah, of course.
And because our universities, they are thinking much better than ultimately engineering faculties. Now it's not the same as 20 years ago. Even 10 years ago, there are many startup companies coming. I know one startup company which started with the senior lecturer there, and he has now employed 30 engineers. Yes, so now it is not like the old days where you have to do it all yourself. Private companies are encouraged. They are allowed to work in the university. When they become big, they can go out and work. And that I think is a very good training, where I think most of these dreams can be achieved. Thank you.
And a lot of good success stories about people are working, but I'm not telling everyone to do this. But that has been located. For example, when I was working there, all boys carry a torch. Have you seen this? Everybody carry a torch and that culture is there, But if you like or not, you have so where that culture in the universities? When you, as you professor said, is he start a company, why don't I start a company? So when he start a company, others also everybody must carry a torch, right? So everybody else also must get out. And that type of research culture, innovative culture, company culture, knowledge culture, everybody must, even though you like or not, you are forced to do this. That type of culture must be created by her but who are from institution. That you must do it. I don't know how to do it.
One last question.
I think it's now time. It's okay, Doctor?
While we are talking about
Okay.
the supply side management, are we doing the correct practice in the demand side? The conservation side of things.
In the university, the demand side, we have people actually. Demand side management, we have set up the presence and task force. Lot of work to be honest. LED bulb interaction, GF, various things. So demand side management, we are pushing very hard. Supply service. So last time, I think, look at the last 5 years. Yes, demand has not grown. Possibly because of demand side management. But every year, the demand is almost same every year. Total sums not demand. That doesn't mean demand has not increased, but demand has increased. But people have efficiency has improved. It's nothing wrong.
Okay, so let's make it an end. Before that, we have two items. Number one is as a token of appreciation, the Institute of Engineers Sri Lanka would like to give some small memento to Dr. Batagoda. I kindly invite our past president, Sir Professor K.K. Vaidabu Pereira to give away the memento to Dr. Batagoda. Please come on.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah, now give me 2 minutes to deliver the vote of thanks. Actually, it was a very inspiring lecture and it was very good. Dr. Batagoda was here before 5:15 and now it's 7:15. We know the workload you have and your responsibilities. So this much you respected the Institute of Engineers. You spend your valuable time here in a very crucial time of the country regarding power. Also, we have here from the ministry our additional secretaries, the chairman of CEB, the Director General Sustainable Energy Authority, our past presidents, and also I must be thankful to our Civil Engineering Section Committee Chairman, Engineer Samad, who has been always with us and supporting us. Just one thing I should not make another lecture here, but I cannot get on without saying this. Dr. Batagoda said us, please not to be left out. He said us, it was in some brown letters, I think it should be written in golden color. Should not be left out, and we as engineers should not let the country out. So I think that message is hidden in his message. So saying that, and I thank you Dr. Batagoda again and again for coming here. It was a very, very important, very, very valuable lecture, and most of the decision makers are here, so they will take something, and the Institute of Engineers, as you said, will proceed in supporting the government policies and helping the institutions and our engineers. Thank you very much.